Welcome to the channel. Today I will be going over every vehicle in BRM5. Yes, including helicopters. This is in order to find which ones you should buy and which ones you should avoid. I'm going to break down the different capabilities and features that are unique to each vehicle. Later in the video I will also race all the vehicles against each other for fun, so stick around for that. I'll be reviewing these vehicles in my standard review format, aside from my decision to start with the cheapest vehicle of the two categories and move up to the most expensive. Starting with the 4x4, also known as a Jeep, it comes in at a beginner-friendly $150. It has 7,500 base HP and 140 top speed plus a 4-man capacity. You can add a heavy package and a turret to boost the HP to a modest 10,000 at the cost of speed. The main advantage of the Jeep is how low its repair cost is. However, it struggles in occupant protection. Vehicle HP is low to begin with, even with the heavy package. There's also a lot of open areas that bullets can go through, and in terms of driving it, it drives fine. It's not as agile or fast as people give it credit for, especially when you compare it to the PvP or the SRTV. Overall, it's good at being cheap transportation, just be careful when driving it into gunfire. Next is the PvP. It starts at $1,750 and features 12,000 HP, 120 speed, and 4 seats. There are no armor options, however you do get a selection of camos and a camo net, as well as an optional hatch turret much like the Jeep. With the Jeep's turret and armor option, the PvP still costs $1,000 more, however you get more health and near identical speed. You also get better occupant protection while having insanely high maneuverability. It's the only highly agile vehicle that offers full protection. It's also the smallest vehicle, which means that it can go places where most vehicles can't. While not as tanky as a Humvee or as fast as the SRTV, it comes in way cheaper than those two and it's a joy to mess around with. If you haven't tried it yet, I suggest you get your hands on one, especially if you like drifting. Next is the M1151A1. It's a 2-seater open cargo Humvee with 7,500 health, 125 top speed, and 2 seats in base configuration. It has cargo, troop, and armor configurations, which don't add on to the vehicle price, which is nice. However, adding a turret does cost $2,000. The armored configuration is worth talking about because it boosts the health from 7,500 to 10,500 for free, and it keeps its original top speed. Overall, it's a decent starter car, but like the Jeep, it lacks full protection, which the PvP offers for less money. Driving it, you will find that it's noticeably faster and has more ground clearance than its up-armored counterparts. Next on the list is the Tigr-M SpN. With STS stock configuration, it has 15,000 health, 125 speed, and 4 seats. The AMN configuration adds 2,000 HP for $500. Note that if you get a troops configuration, you cannot get a turret. The PKP is basically a PKM, while the 6P49 is more like an M250 cal, except with higher fire rate and less capacity. The Tigr is noticeably faster than armored Humvees coming up, but it has less health. I would pick the Tigr over the VAB VTT as it performs the same or better while coming in much cheaper, but when it comes to the Humvee, it depends if you value speed over health. The M1151A1 is the cheapest of the armored Humvees, but for good reason. It only has 2 enclosed seats, and there's no turret option. Because the transport seats are just wide out in the open, I suggest using the cargo configuration because it makes the most sense. If you need basic cargo transport, I personally would go with the much cheaper and faster M1153 from earlier. However, it doesn't buy you into a fully protected Humvee with 20,000 health, 118 top speed, and a large cargo area. Personally, not having a turret option kills it for me, but if you specifically want armored cargo transport for cheap, this is a fair offer. When you think of a Humvee, you probably think of an M1151A1. It has 4 cabin seats with an enclosed cargo area and can be fitted with a plethora of turret options. Your gun choices are either an M240, which is basically a souped up saw. Don't be a nerd about this analogy in the comments. I'm just making these things easier to understand for the average viewer. Or an M250 cal. I recommend the OGPK turret with either the M2 or the 240. When comparing the Humvee to its closest competitor, the Tigr, I found that the cargo area and seats are easier to access in the Humvee. However, when exiting the seats in the Humvee, you are prone to getting shot at instantly, whereas in the Tigr, when you exit, you are still inside the vehicle, protecting you from instantly dying when you dismount. Even so, most people can live with either. In the end, it's whichever you prefer. Before you buy either though, you should consider the remote weapon system counterparts. Overall, it's a solid option, and it looks sick as hell. Next is the slightly improved M1151A1. Why is it improved, you may ask? Well, on the surface it just looks like the last Humvee, but with the back chopped off. It and while it is, that's actually what makes it superior. You get 2 extra seats at the cost of $300 when you buy this variant. Everything else is basically the same: storage, turrets, armor, speed, just with an extra 2 seats. A worthy upgrade in my opinion, despite them being out in the open, which depending on how you look at it, might be a good or a bad thing. Next is the Tigr RWS. It's basically just the Tigr but available with a remote turret. It also boosts the seating capacity by 2 occupants compared to the regular armed Tigr variant. The remote turret seat is accessed in the interior, behind the passenger seat. When tested, its accuracy is similar among other Crow systems. The Tigr's Epaulette turret also has the highest damage among all remote weapon systems. You can also reload its turret unlike the Crow's Humvee. You may or may not know this turret also has thermals, but because of its need to reload and the vehicle's lower health, the Tigr RWS is less suited for all-out assaults on compounds than the Crow's Humvee. However, it is perfect for rapid infiltration with its superior speed and more powerful turret. To worsen the case for the Crow's Humvee, its turret is ludicrously expensive. With only the turret equipped, we are just $1,000 shy of what an armed striker costs. And to make things worse, you cannot reload the turret. 400 rounds and that's it. You only get 3 seats and 20,000 health, which is fine, but for just $1,000 more, you could get a striker with 35,000 health. And if you think of saving a couple $1,000s to go with the cheaper 240 Crows, you will be disappointed. It's almost $8,000 for the turret alone, and it does close to half the damage of all the other turrets in the game. It's still not reloadable, and it has by far the worst accuracy, making it a legitimate challenge to hit anything past a couple hundred meters, making the Crow's Humvee a definite do not buy. If you want a Humvee, buy any of the ones I mentioned before. Do not waste your money on this pile of shit. From now on, we are getting into more transport or utility vehicles, where first we have the Ural 43206. It has 15,000 health and 85 speed. It can seat up to 10 people with 100 storage in the default configuration, or 2 people with 348 storage in the cargo configuration. Upsides are that it has more storage space than the LMTV while being cheaper. However, it's slower, can't fit armor, can't fit a turret, and seats less people in the troops configuration. Also found that the doors can be shot through, making it dangerous to drive into a gunfire. Overall, it's not a bad choice if you want a cheap truck with good storage to use as a resupply and bunker, just avoid situations where speed, defense, and armor matter. Moving up to the double axle Ural 4320, it's $500 more but offers 2 extra seats in standard configuration. And it also has the same cargo space, interestingly. Also, you lose the bumper option, which I guess is fine because it's just aesthetic, but that's a little weird. It's of course not worth buying this truck. If you really need the 12 seats, just buy the FMTV. Please skip this one. Here we have a little bit of an oddball, the VAB VTT, with 15,000 armor, 10 seats, and 90 speed. I think the purpose of the VTT is to transport a lot of people without really needing to use armor or a turret very often. It's definitely not a striker light, it's more of a slower troops Tigr with a few extra seats and the ability to mount a turret. Realistically, if you want to transport 10 people with complete armor, meaning nobody's sitting out in the open, while still having good speed and maneuverability, this is your only option. If you move up to more health, you get less speed, and if you move down into more speed, you get less seats. I think it's a fair balance, but it does make quite a bit of compromises. Moving back to the supply trucks, we have the M1083 LMTV. It has 15,000 health, 105 speed, 12 seats in standard configuration, and 2 seats in cargo configuration. It has an option to add armor, boosting its health to a respectable 25,000, and you can also give it the OGPK turret from their Humvee. All of this makes for a very nice package for resupplying bunker, as unlike with the Ural, and actually stand up in a fight. The only downside is it's a little more on the expensive side, especially once you add armor and a turret, and it has less storage capacity at 312. One of the complaints I forgot to mention about this truck is that it can be very hard to access the back or the turret of the truck if you're parked on any kind of incline. So do keep that in mind when you're using it. If you want someone to get into the gunner seat, pull the truck onto level ground first. If you want that little bit of extra storage space while keeping all of the good things about the LMTV, you can step up to the FMTV. It does add another $1,000 to the base price, but you get an extra 24 storage slots on the cargo configuration, or 2 extra seats on the standard configuration. This behemoth of a vehicle is called the VMBR. Think of it as a striker, which many of you are used to, just with different packaging. The stock VMBR has 30,000 health and starts at $7,000, while the heavy configuration starts at $9,500, and gives you an extra 4,000 health. It is worth noting that with the heavy armor, the VMBR does cost $1,000 more and has slightly less top speed and health than the Striker. The remote turret also costs another $3,000 compared to the Striker's remote turret. There's also an additional option to add 2 rear turrets, which I don't recommend unless you want them for aesthetics. With it costing so much more than a fully equipped Striker, I can't recommend it from a value perspective. However, it does pretty much the exact same job with near identical stats, so if you just want it for the looks and don't want a Striker, it's by no means a bad vehicle. With a slight step up in price, we have the Cougar. It has 35,000 health, 105 speed, and 10 seats. Firstly, it doesn't have a remote weapon available, which is strange at this price point. The Cougar is one of the oldest vehicle models in the game currently, and its age shows in quite a few places. For one, it has low customization, it's also very hard to access the turret from the outside, and from a driving perspective, it's very floaty and loves to roll over more than any vehicle in the game that I've tested. While it does work as a bullet sponge, there's better bullet sponges out there, and I would prefer something like a Striker or VMBR over this any day, mainly because of their remote turrets. This is an M1151A1 ICV, better known as a Striker, which you already knew because they're absolutely everywhere. $8,500 base price, 100 speed if your road is long enough to get it there, 35,000 health, and 9 seats. The main reason the Striker is so popular is because most people see it as the absolute prestige vehicle that is indestructible. However, it's not really indestructible. One careless or unexperienced Striker driver, which there are a lot of, is all it takes to get everyone on board killed. Something you may or may not know about the Striker is that both its turret and driver's seat are accessible without going inside the cabin. And with that being said, I can't really find a reason to pick the VMBR over the Striker, unless you just prefer it personally. The Striker makes surprisingly little compromises. It has better turning radius and speed than most heavy vehicles, slightly more or the same health, good customization, and the same remote turret as the VMBR. My only complaint about the Striker is that because of it being wider than any of the other vehicles, if you're in a situation that requires driving through a minefield or forest, it's easier to hit things unintentionally if you're not used to its width. Overall, it's worth buying, just be prepared for its higher repair costs. Last but not least, we have the SRTV, which I had to switch accounts to review since my usual account doesn't have it, which means we don't get to use the cool map, sadly. Anyways, it has 7,500 health, 150 top speed, and 3 seats. If you want, you can get a passenger configuration for 2 extra seats in a smaller cargo area. Of course, the main selling point of the SRTV is that it comes with the Recce Game Pass, which gets you my favorite camo option, available on some rifles, and a leafy hat along with some other accessories. But this is a vehicle video, so let's focus on the car. Its acceleration and balance is very good, making it ideal for climbing mountainsides or fast transportation. If you didn't know, Game Pass vehicles also have free repair cost, which you will be using a lot on this little guy since it barely has any health. And if you didn't know, running into things chips away at your vehicle's health. This is a huge problem for the SRTV because it naturally collides with rocks and other objects while off-roading, so don't be surprised if it randomly blows up on you. In sum, it's the best mountain goat vehicle in the game, but don't get into any blazing gunfights with it. Now I will demonstrate a highly scientific drag race between every vehicle in the game, starting with the heavier, slower vehicles and ending with the lighter, faster ones. The purpose of this race is really to see if their speed stat tells the whole story. Enough talk, here's the first race. Now that Striker did get a little bit of a jump on the start, but the single axle supply trucks did very well in the race, but the double axle ones were slightly behind, especially that FMTV. Next up we have the VAB VTT with the top speed of 90, Cougar HE with the top speed of 105, the Striker with the top speed of 100, VMBR VTT with the top speed of 90, and the M1083 FMTV with the top speed of 94. Now the Cougar does have the highest speed stat, but does that mean it'll win? Well, let's find out.
Oh yeah, Fab's way faster.
Oh, Jake's absolutely taking off like a rocket.
And Marsh is just left behind.
Yeah.
And the win goes to the VAB VTT with the top speed of 90, absolutely destroying the Cougar with the top speed of 105. So it makes me wonder if the armor stat also contributes to the vehicle's speed. other than just the speed stat. But that wouldn't really explain why the Striker was first and the Cougar was last in the first race. Here we see that the Tigers pull away because of their large speed difference, but the VAB is leaving behind the Humvees despite their higher speed stat. It makes you wonder what that speed stat actually means. Judging by these races, it seems to be a relative power number, and that armor also represents the weight of the vehicle, making lighter, lower speed vehicles faster than heavier, high speed ones. So if I'm right, the Tigr in the PvP should get left behind by every other vehicle, and the Jeep should leave behind the Humvees with the SRTV in the lead. Now what ends up happening is the PvP keeps up with the lighter vehicles while the SRTV gaps everyone, and the Tigr finishes dead last. And if you want to help out videos like this, consider joining the BRM5G Discord and selecting the Extras role. The link is in the description. Without further ado, that is the end of the video. There will be a part 2 of this series going over helicopters, and part 3, 4, etc. will cover individual new vehicles that they add in the future. Thank you for watching, and of course thank you for your patience. I'm sorry this upload took so long, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Guys, where are you guys? I'm lost.
He footballed me off of the tower, bro.
How come Freddy kicked me out?
I don't know where you guys are. I'm so alone.
He's on my hot
I just hear the vine boom sound effect like 5 miles away.
Yeah, that's him. That's him trying to
I'm
eat.
currently on top of a mountain.
Guys, come pick me up. I'm
Oh
scared.
my god. Where are you at?
I see
a
someone.
flashlight. Wait.
That's me.
Hey!
Hey,
Run the
that's
other way.
me.
Run the other way.
Run the other. Oh, fuck!
Oh my god.
Okay, I hear it.
Zombies.
He teleported me.
Zombies.
He teleported me. He spared me. Oh, no he didn't. No he didn't. No he didn't. No he didn't.
Zombies in Afghanistan, guys.
He's on my buns.
He's in my
He's
box,
on my buns. He's flying.
What?
He's just launched into the air.
bro.
He's flying.
Get away, get away, get away, get away. Get away, get away, get away. You hear the vine booms, right? He's like slapping my
We're nowhere near you.
Whoa.
Excuse
Yo,
me.
what?
You know, hot potato. Oh my god. Hot potato, hot potato. No, not bear 5.
Another bear 5.
He's clanking, bro. He's clanking so hard. Get away. Whoa, blue, blue, blue. I see blue, I'm running. I see blue, I'm running. Oh, I see blue and red.
So dark.